Welcome back, guys. I am Razakius, and this is Minecraft. I have a lot to show you. I actually was not going to be doing an episode, a bonus episode this week, and just going to stick to my Friday one, but then this weekend, I played the game for, 3 or 4 days, and I wasn't able to actually sit and record. So I sat and played and built and played and built, and I actually got kind of excited that I was building, and so I got a lot built. And if you can see, this is part of what I've built here. There are stairs at nearly every side. These back sides don't get stairs, but they have their own weird shapes and designs. And so basically this is the inner wall, so I have a corridor now that goes all the way around, and pet chickens. Up there, you can see my mistake of measuring yet again. This was actually quite challenging to pull off, although the thing that was really fun about doing this inner wall right here was to find it matching up almost every single place that it was supposed to match up. That gave me so much relief. I did have one error. This half here, let me show you. This half over here was actually one shorter than this half, so I had to go in and make it one longer. It was my only error in the entire thing, almost. There was one other minor problem. Almost every single one of these little diagonal mini walls was put in the wrong place. That was a really easy fix, and I kind of expected that to be the problem. But so now I'm doing stuff like this where I'm kind of cleaning up. I use these cobblestone as measuring bricks to make sure that I had the right distance everywhere. Yeah, I've done a lot. One of my more recent things you'll see right in this. This is the west side, and that's up here. There's going to be a platform. Actually, the entire center is going to be this tall, so I'm going to have to go and build up everything in this section here to be 2 blocks higher. But I've started doing the entrance. You'll see there's these weird little divots here. That's so, well, when the walls are all built up, someone will be able to stand here, potentially, with a pole arm and stab at stuff as they come through. That's its real purpose. I have a bed out here so that I didn't have to go downstairs every single time. This is one of my also more recent things that I dug out. And we'll get to this later, but this is the wall, the exterior wall. I'm building it into the mountain, and I'm going to leave it flush with the mountain, but this is actually a tower that's going to go up, so I have to carve it out. And I'm leaving the stone wall where I can. So this is a weird wall right now, but that's actually the wall. So I decided to leave it so that I didn't have to rebuild it later. What I'm currently working on is this right here. This all used to be land, and I'm kind of tearing it down, and I'm trying to terraform it to make it look somewhat realistic. Has to be flat straight out the gate, only because if you have an encroaching army, you don't want to give them hills. You want to make sure they're at the bottom. What's weird about this is the same level as the center, and I'll show you the center in a little bit, but the stairs are much shorter, and I think this is just part of the problem of having diagonal stairs on a square tile map. But this is how the stairs look like on a square tile, or the stairs look like on a square tile map. It looks pretty cool, actually. I kind of like it. It reminds me of like a lion's mane or something. Yeah, let's speed over to the center. This is the main entrance. Main entrance has with it the biggest entrance of the entire block. I have gone a little further. This has more solid wall in this section, and then once you get into this section, there are more areas to get into here, and it goes further back. And I don't really know what's back here yet off the top of my head. But again, more people can sit here and stabby stab as stuff comes through. It's really kind of a cool design. If you look at it from up here, you can kind of see the design. Unfortunately, again, the squareness kind of makes the diagonals here a little weird, but whatever. And actually, this one is a nightmare. I think I finally figured out how it works. This has taken me a long time. It doesn't really look all that nice, and you'll notice there's only really one square for people to stand in, but this is the best I could come up with on a diagonal. Otherwise, what I was finding is it was often flaying out if I didn't do it this way, and I needed to keep it straight. You'll notice as I'm building this up, the bottom layer I'm making dirt, and then I'm putting a layer of cobblestone above that. I might change the cobblestone to be like andesite or something else that I probably am not going to use too often, or the granite, the pink granite, just to kind of get rid of that stuff. But I want a stone layer right underneath the layer of half slabs, and that is so if a creeper somehow manages to come in and blow stuff up, it won't go as deep and it won't make as big of a dent. And then the dirt, I have so much dirt, and I don't think I'm ever going to use it, so I'm putting dirt wherever I can to kind of fill in the gaps. Whew! So that's that area. And then I also built the front wall is basically done. We're getting to darkness, so I might have to run in quick. So here's the front stairs. You see it goes down a lot further. Goes right into the river right now. I'm going to have to fill in the river. That's too bad. I really wanted to keep the river initially, but I think the river's going to have to go. Also, this is going out so far to the left. I kind of wish that I moved over this whole thing a little bit, maybe so that this gate was right here, maybe like 20 or 30 squares. But you'll see there is a wall across the entire front half. It goes up 30 feet, I believe, on this first level. Pretty tall. Gotta run. Running out of time. And I do have it going all the way around to the next diagonal. So I'm basically going diagonal to diagonal right now. I haven't built that up yet. And for this side, I might actually leave the stairs as is. I'll flatten this one out a little bit. But I kind of like the idea that it's on a hill. I think that it gives a little bit of differentiation. Now there is this hole here, and this is going to stay and probably go up the entire width of the tower. It's nifty, actually. I don't know what it's being used for, or if it's just kind of a decorative thing, because it'll go up the entire way. There's not actually a plan for the towers that I'm aware of, so I'm going to have a little bit of leeway on how I build those towers up. And I'm going to probably build a staircase that spirals up this center pit. That way, and there's probably going to be areas for people who are defending the tower could push people off or somehow pick people off. I don't know yet. I'm going to take a little bit of a break here, but I'll be right back, guys. Just a moment. And we're back. All right. So I really am quite excited about where I'm at with building. You have no idea. Like, with all the digging that I had been doing, there were days at a time where I wouldn't play Minecraft at all because I was just so bored with it. And believe me, all this terraforming I have to do, not overly happy with the idea. However, I do have a solution as to how I'm kind of getting over that hump, and it's really being afforded to me by the fact that I've already done most of the digging already. And it really kind of equates back to the fact that all of my tools have the auto repair modifier on them. And so what I do is I'll come down and I will sit here and do my mining and clear this out as best as I can. And then once I'm getting low on my tools, I'll come up here and I'll just start building. And that way, I mean, it's kind of like a no-duh type of thing. It lets me regenerate my tools without using any materials at all. But more importantly than that, it gives me a sense of doing different things. It doesn't allow myself to get bored of anything. And so I'm constantly switching between what I'm doing. And it also kind of gives me the option of, like, thought. Like, it helps me think about how I'm going to do that next part a little bit better without actually be sitting there doing it. Because one of the things that I found myself doing is I'll sit there and I'll get stuck on something, and then I'll just need to walk away because I don't know where to go next. And this is happening a lot with building. In particular. With digging, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You're digging. There's not a whole lot to it, right? So it's not a big deal if I get stuck in digging. There's nothing to get stuck on. But for building, especially with building with these diagonals, I'm getting stuck on the diagonals a lot. And I knew that was going to be a problem going into this project. I knew diagonals were going to be very difficult, but I didn't care because diagonals are part of the project. I mean, I can't really get away with it without it, unfortunately, unless I just decided not to do this. It's part of the difficulty of the project. But it is what it is. I hate that saying, but I always use it. I don't even know why. So if you notice with these walls, there's absolutely no detail at all to the walls. I'm not putting any detail into it right now. That might be a folly, actually. I think about it all the time, about how, like, because I'm building it now, it would be so much easier to come up with the details while I'm building it rather than to have to go back through it later. But I think, especially since I've never really worked on details before, I think one of the benefits of having it all built out before you actually... or having it all built out before you start dealing with the details, is that it allows you to step back and see how it looks like big picture and see whether it actually looks good rather than kind of assuming it'll look good and making mistakes. Oh, I did want to show you guys the railings, and I'm trying to figure out still how to work railings on the diagonal. I do want to have railings on all of these staircases, and I came up with a solution that works really, really well here. And you can see it. I have a carpenter's block wedge slope followed by a normal one, and then I have it going all the way up so it's every other. What this does is it makes it so that I can kind of see over it, and I can't step over it. It's like I have to jump in order to step. So I think it offers the safety that you're kind of looking for, right? So I really like that. It doesn't really work as well on a diagonal, and I have to get a carpenter's hammer out and really start messing with it. I kind of have an idea of what I want to do, but it's going to depend on the shapes I can get out of the carpenter's hammer. You can kind of see the railings that I came up with. It's weird, and I'm not sure if I'm going to like it, but I need something. I just gotta figure that out. That's going to take some time. That's one of those things that I was just talking about. Something that I need to step back. And I'm always stepping back. Like this section of stairs. Which I actually found out a lot of these stairs that I've built are not proportional to how I want them to be. This one is correct. The others, not so much. But I'm just going to leave as is because the measurements on what's surrounding them is correct. And I don't want to get into the problem of, well, this one's not correct, but everything is correct. How can that be? Whatever. It works, and that's all that really matters at this point. And hopefully that remains true throughout. And here's what I mean by that. There is 3 at the opening, and it's supposed to be 3. This one has 4. Now, it is diagonal, so I can give it the excuse of diagonal. But this one has 4, too. And I've decided that the excuse I'll make for this one, the center, is that the center is a little bit bigger. So we're okay with it because it's bigger. Although I don't know how it got here because, here, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is exactly the right width. Oh no, I think the problem is that this one is one too long, and it just kind of compounded back. But everything else around it is the exact right width. You want 3 there, and whatever. So there are some mistakes in this, and I'm choosing to ignore them for now and hoping they don't bite me later. I also want to talk briefly about blocks, the types of blocks that I'm using here. Everything you see is pretty much vanilla at this point, and what I want to do is I want to make the tower, the most of it, vanilla. This I don't care about that it's not, and why this is a big deal to me is this is a modded a pack of mine, and one thing I know about mods, probably as well as anybody, is that mods go in and out of style. The mod creators get sick of making for the mods and quit, and the mod will stop being produced. There's been so many very popular mods in the past, even just a couple patches ago, that just aren't in use anymore because the creator stopped making it and didn't pass on the code, and now nobody can really do it except if they do it from scratch, so they just completely do a new thing. That's just kind of how mod packs work, and so with the idea that no mod pack is permanent, I want to make this tower as permanent as I can. And what that really means is that I can't build it with blocks that aren't going to be there in the future, meaning that, okay, so when you take a mod out of a mod pack, what happens is the blocks from that mod just disappear. They don't turn into the nearest block. So if I have a stone modded version of stone from, like, say, chisel, and it's similar to stone, if I take out chisel away, it's not going to be anything. It's not going to change back to stone. It's just going to blank out. And that means that I'm going to have to go rebuild it. Now, for the railings, it's set up in such a way... Did I just screw that up? I think I did. It's built in such a way that... Jeez. That, if those slopes disappear, there will be just one less block. The slopes themselves will be fine. They'll be completely fine. Actually, this one, it doesn't need to be there. Right? And I don't think... Maybe it wasn't... Maybe I didn't screw it up. I think it was fine. So this is why the tower is really going to be vanilla, even though this is a mod pack, because I don't want to have to come back here 2 years later and find holes in what took me so many hours and so much toil to build. I want it to be still mostly intact. I mean, there might be a hole here and there to patch up, but I don't want major holes. So everything has to be pretty much vanilla. Everything that matters, at least. So I really am looking at how to use vanilla the best that I can, and that's really my goal. Now, I do plan on making stuff with the modded blocks. I mean, this mod pack in particular that I built has a lot of variety, so that I can build whatever I want to. But for these major projects like this, just not going to happen. Like the little house or the mine that I built in previous episodes, those are ones I'm more willing to build in with various types of mods. Although you notice the mine in particular didn't actually use a whole lot of mods. The mods that it used was like the wood paneling in the back. The stonework was all vanilla. So what I'm doing here, and I think I'm going to explain this, and that's going to be the end of the episode because we're running out of time. What I'm doing here is for now, I just want to open this up so that it's a normal land. And what I'm going to do is I'm building out a second diagonal cliff tower here. And this cliff it's basically what's forcing people in through the tower pass. I'm probably going to have to go back and build up the mountain itself a little more, since I'm going a little further into the mountain than I wanted to be. But at the entrance here, I want to build up the cliff, I think. At least I'm going to see how that looks. If it looks stupid once it gets built, I'll probably tear down the rest of this, but for now, I think it'll be fine if I just open this up, make a little cranny here, because if you're an attacker and you come over here in the cranny, you're going to get killed because you're just into a corner at that point. But that's what I'm doing. I just want to make this a little more flat, and I want to make it look a little more natural. I'm probably going to come all the way out. I'm probably going to lower it all to back here, actually, and I'm basically going to make it so that if you don't go through the castle, or if you want to try to go up the sides here to, like, try to attack the castle from here, it's just not going to work. That's kind of the goal that I'm looking for, and I'm not sure how to do that. We're going to see how that works once we get the rest of the castle built. It is a very tall castle, so this might work just fine, but that's my initial goal of what we're doing. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this update of how my castle is going. I really am excited that I'm actually building, and I'm hoping to be done with this first floor pretty soon. I'm hoping within the next like 6 or 7 days I'll be able to at least get the first floor plan done, so that this center will be completely done and ready, and we'll have stairs over here. This north part, that might be a little more tricky, because that's, again, I'm going to need to take out the mountain. I actually might build this one into the mountain similar to this exit. So how this castle goes is you got a pass on this side, a pass on this side. This is the direction where enemies generally come, and behind here, it's north a ways. But behind here, the only thing that's really up there is a city and a whole bunch of mountains along the ways. So it's not really... The only way to get to the city is by sea or through this mountain. So if you're wanting to attack and take over the city, you pretty much have to take the mountain as well as the coast. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please catch me again next time. I hope you have a good one. Bye-bye. I think I'm going to wait a little bit longer, see if I can either get my 5th Battalion of Horsemen to have more troops in it, and or get my 2 Hoplite regiments full strength. They did come back from that war pretty recently, so I'm not sure if the troops died from that, and that's what the deal is.